Hi there, I'm Kai, and I'm going to show you how I redesigned this wind spell from Genshin Impact using Rogue Wave's Druid Magic sound library. Let's listen to the clip. In this actual library itself, you've got two sections. You've got Designed and Source. In Designed, you've got loads of design spells for different elements, and then also magic components and sort of neutral spells that you can tie together with your other elements to create the most perfect sound for a kind of cutesy JRPG or anime game. And then you've also got the source recording section, all the different types of elements that are used in it, so you know exactly what was used source recording wise, so you can actually make your own sounds by putting these together and editing them yourself. So let's start with the kind of cute magic layer. This is what it sounds like. So first off, we have this magic refresh sound. I've added some reverb and a frequency shifter to this. Without it, it sounds like this, which is already perfect for a sort of JRPG or kind of cutesy kind of game. Next sound we have is the magic pulling power-up sound. This is a frequency shifter and reverb, but the frequency shifting is very, very harsh here. That's just to kind of create this kind of anime sound. Without it, it sounds like this, which is really, really good for anime kind of power-up sounds, but I wanted to use it for a different purpose here with the frequency shift and reverb, which really gives the anime kind of effect. Then we've got this magic low charge power-up. That's really, really subtle. It just adds a little element there of just sort of some mids. Kind of gives a little bit of an exaggeration to this actual sound here opening up. Then we have this wind spell, which is just there for transient information. It's actually from the wind section, which is really, really good for kind of like flapping wings, if you want to add some transient information. Then we've got this water spell wet whoosh, which is honestly just perfect for the animation without even editing it. It's really, really good for this type of sound. I just added, I believe it's a frequency shifter, because I wanted a little bit of a power-up sound to it as it reaches like the pivotal moment of it opening up. So I just frequency shifted it up slightly as it gets closer to opening around here. Then we have another water spell, which is just to give a little bit of a sound to the bubbles when they throw this little potion. Then we have this agility spell from the neutral section, which is honestly really, really nice sound, and it's got a really, really nice like lead up here up to this kind of cute moment of this sound actually starting. Honestly kind of thought it was made specifically for this sound effect when listening to it. Then we've got this little water spell here, just to give a little bubble pop to it opening up. Then we've got this other water spell, which is just some more water pops. Then we've got this other water spell. I thought kind of exaggerated the wings because it looks kind of liquid. And then we've got this sound here, which I believe has reverb, saturation, and another reverb. Without it, it sounds like this. So already really, really perfect for any sort of JRPG kind of magic sound. And then I just added a little bit of reverb twice on here with some saturation, just to bring it out a little bit more for its purpose in this particular sound effect. Then we have this other wind spell, which is really, really, really good. I originally put some effects on it and then I removed them because honestly it just sounds kind of good by itself. So that is printed 3 times for kind of consistency here. I cut it short at the end so then the rest of the sound that you just heard could take over. It's really, really good for like it being static and powerful in the air and then also flapping its wings with that sparkly element. Then we've got another wind sound here. That's just to give some high end to this sound for the little thing that appears. Then we've got this magic air up sound, which just gives a bit more of a magical wind element. Then we've got this neutral spell, which yet again isn't edited and thought it was perfect for this animation just straight out of the box. It's got that little bubble pop and then a little lead up to another bubble pop which is louder, which is perfect. So you've got the start of the sound which is a little bit quieter, and then the end of it which kind of shows the exaggeration of this thing appearing. Love it. Then we've got this other neutral spell here, which just exaggerates all these little sparkles and like sort of like ice cube looking things that come out of the actual spell itself every time it flaps its wings. This has a little bit of EQ getting rid of the low end, then frequency shifted, and then some reverb. Then we've got this other water spell here, which gives some low mids to that sound that you already heard. And now we're onto the whirlwind section, which is one of the sounds from the library which I added the black hole reverb to, which looks like this. And it has a freeze function, so it freezes the reverb. So I created this sort of whirlwind sound using one of the original recordings, which was a wind spell. And then I just basically recorded a big section of the reverb going and created this sort of whirlwind as it moves. It doesn't play a particularly prominent role, but it does add a little bit of background detail, which I really, really liked with this. And that's what I added there. And this, I just added some formant filter to kind of make it have like that kind of whooshing wind sound, and then removed the high end. Then we have the actual whoosh section itself. So immediately we have this sound, we have this whoosh sound, which gives the character a little bit of an exaggeration when it disappears. These neutral spells here, which are wand swishes, which actually just perfectly lines up with the animation. Yet again, like I said, really, really good for sort of JRPG and anime stuff, and it just fits it perfectly. Then we got this other wind sound here, which I thought was perfect for when it appears, to give it like a sort of a dramatic entrance. No effects on this, sounds perfect out the box. Another wind spell. This has got a reverb on it, and it's got a really lovely tremolo intro to give it a little bit of a dramatic opening. I thought that was really, really perfect. Another wind spell here for when it appears, and then two of it again for when it flaps its wings. Really, really cool. Another wind spell here. This is just for exaggerating the wings flapping again. And I've added a pitch shifter on that just to make it a tiny bit more suitable for what I wanted it to do. We've got another wind spell here. Not really doing the entire purpose of a wind spell, but I've added a tape stop to it. So it has like a sort of rising intro. Without it, it sounds like this. Just going to help give it a bit more of an exaggerated JRPG feel. Now we have some more wind spells. Bit of high end and sort of a magic glisten for the wings flapping. Then we have this other wind spell blast attack, which just gives a nice little lead up to the first sound that appears when it flaps its wings. We've got another wind spell just for the first flap of its wings, and that just has no EQ apparently, and then just no transients. An earth spell here gives a really nice kind of glistening element with a tiny bit of low mids. Another wind spell, more wind spells, and would you believe it, another wind spell. Now onto the water elements of the sound. Now there's been a lot of water elements already. I decided to isolate these just for this specific purpose. So you've got a kind of earth spell in here, which is this. This doesn't have any effects on it and is really, really good for cutesy JRPG sounds. There's so many of those in this library. And that's it for that sound effect. So that was all made using Rogue Wave's Druid Magic library, which is absolutely amazing for the JRPG and anime style, with loads of really good source recordings and designed ones which you can stack together to create some really, really awesome sounds. And let's listen to the sound one more time.